Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Let's Talk About Parenting, brought to you by Irene Leithy. It was a promise last time that we'll be bringing our guests, and today I brought you a guest. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much. Hello viewers, my name is Eunice Wagare and I am your guest today. We'll be talking about parenting, which is a very interesting topic because we would love to bring up a generation that will be people in future and a generation that will also be able to raise their children, and therefore we'll be talking more about parenting.
When you hear about parenting, what comes to your mind?
Parenting is given by God because there are so many people out there who would love to have children and be called parents. And therefore, I take parenting to be a gift from the Lord. And when you're given those children, you're expected by God to raise them in a very good way and to raise them that when God in heaven watches over them, he can say, truly, this is my person who is raising my people. So it is good for us to take care of our children and know that our children are our legacy. So the moment I hear about parenting, I see a legacy.
Eunice,
Yes.
are you a parent, if I may ask?
Yes, I am a parent. I am a biological mother to 3 beautiful girls, Wamboi, Wanjiko, and Joki. And I have many other children that I raise out there. Yes, so I've been a parent for quite some time, even before I got my biological children.
There's a different generation from that generation that we were brought up from. Do you see any difference between the generation that was and this generation that is, and the way you're raising your children? Is it the same way that you're raised up?
Wow, amazing. I must say that it's quite a whole different thing because from how we were raised in a way that we could not ask any question. But the generation that we are raising today, and especially with my children, you cannot just tell them something. They have to ask you, but why? But why? Every time is but why. But during our old good days, there was no question. It is said and it should be done. So it's a very different scenario from when we were being raised and from what we are raising. So it's a very different thing. Also, it's good to remember that during our old days, that we had the same setup. But today we have very different setups. And there's so much technology. These children are getting so much. They know so much. Sometimes they challenge you. You feel like you are done with this thing. But I thank God because in every step, God helps you to do it.
As much as we say that our time was maybe a bad one or a hard one, what is one thing that, or two things that you see that even if this one is outdated according to us or according to this generation, that you say, I would like my children to carry this on, the legacy?
Wow, you are taking me back so far because I can remember myself in that smoky kitchen with my mother trying to beat me and to bring me back together. And when I look the whole issue, when my mother was parenting me, of course, with my father, it was a little bit tough because one thing my mother was, I would say she was a military. I believed that my mother can kill and finish it. But I really appreciate today that she was very tough on us, of course, with my siblings. She was very tough. And my mother is that one person who is very quiet. But when it comes to discipline, she was very tough. And that is what I would really love my children to get. It's good to remind you that I still beat. And I hope the government will not come for me. I still beat. But there's one thing that I have seen in my children. One, we sit down and agree. We sit down and agree. You have done this mistake. And as your mother, I can see you have done this mistake. I remember when our daughter was 3 years and she started messing up with things that I really felt we have to beat that mistake. So we took a belt, the father's belt, and we agreed that we are anointing that belt, and we anointed it, and agreed that every time that she does a mistake, we are going to use that belt to remove that mistake. Of course, we started with a few canes, and then it intensified as she started growing, and also the sisters adapted the same thing. So what we do with the discipline, we don't really, and you cannot discipline a child in front of others. We go to a secluded place and we discuss that mistake, then we beat. So when you beat her, she will not take it like you hate her, you hate that child. The child will take it like, I understand my mistake, and that is why I am being beaten. Unlike before, or during our time, you were being beaten for eating, crying, not eating, everything, literally everything. So it is important for you to let your kid understand, why are you beating me, or why are you disciplining me? Yes.
Wow, that's a nice one. An anointed belt. Wow, I love that.
Of course, when you're disciplining, they don't like it. You don't expect them to like it.
I know.
But you are the one who can see the future. In this case, this child cannot see the future. So you're the one who is seeing the future for them. And you don't want to raise a child that child cannot be answerable or accountable. So that is why we discipline. You cannot discipline as you throw. You discipline as you bring close.
True.
So after you beat, or after you talk, or after you withdraw whatever, like we withdraw the TV, we withdraw the laptop, we withdraw so many things, even playing outside, we detain them in the house, for them to understand, this is a mistake that I did. Like now, do you expect yourself to go outside, stay up to 7, you have not showered, you have not done your homework, you have not helped in the house chores, and then you expect to come back to my own house? No. We have to agree on one thing, that you have to be on a straight line, and you have to know what is expected of you. So when you know that you have gone beyond the limit, then you expect mommy or daddy to do something on you. So sometimes they don't really like it, but we have to do it because we can see the future. Yes.
What about the presence of a parent? Is the presence of the mother or the parents needed in raising up these kids?
Wow, that has been a very big challenge in our days, parenting. And I can say for sure, presence matters. Presence in your child's life matters. And I can tell you one thing, that what you love most, you'll be there all the time. Why do you take care why do you think you take care of your job so much and you have to be there? You cannot miss to go to work.
True.
Why? Because you value that work. Yes. So the same case with parenting. If you really value your children, you'll be present in their lives. That doesn't mean that you have to be there every time, but that few minutes that you're at home after coming out from work, you have to maximize that time and make sure that those children learn something from you. You want them to copy something from you, but you cannot be so busy. Sometimes we are busy doing nothing. I can tell you for sure. Sometimes we are busy partying. Sometimes we are busy with chamas. Akina mama, we know how we love chamas. Sometimes we are busy doing nothing, forgetting our children, and they really miss us and they really want to hear from us. And when we leave them, I have seen this in so many parents, that they leave their children and their children are missing them so much. So when they are coming back, and I have to say this, they come back with so many gifts and so many things, and sometimes they are spoiling those children. So I feel like presence is very, 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 very important. Out of your busy schedule, it's good to create time for your child and also listen to them. Listen to what they are feeling, listen to what they want to do, listen to their fears, listen to what they love, know their friends, know their friends' parents, and also know what they value. Because by knowing what they value, and you cannot know if you're not present. If you're not present, you'll find them sleeping. So when will you ever know? So it's good for you to be present for your children, listen to them, and know what they fear, what they love, what they would love to be. And sometimes they just want to see you there seated.
True.
You are not doing anything, but you're just there. Yes.
Let's talk about technology. These days, it's another era where we are using our phones so much. We can't say that the phones are bad.
Yes.
What is your take about technology?
Wow. Wow. Technology. Yes. Hey, technology has come and it is here with us and it is not going anywhere.
True, it is.
But I can say technology is good, but it depends with how you take it. Because at the end of the day, you'll have to use that phone, you'll have to use that TV, you have to use that laptop. But how you use that technology is what matters. So in my case, I tell my children that the phone can make you or the phone can break you. That laptop can make you or break you. That TV can make you or break you. So choose, even when I am not there, what are you watching on the screens? So what you're watching, are you comfortable if mommy comes back and finds that TV that you're watching something? Will you be comfortable if I just come and hide somewhere and watch what you're watching? So if you're not comfortable, then know that you're not doing the right thing. And I keep reminding them, technology will not go. It will be here. I keep reminding them, I will not fail to go to work because there is a TV and I cannot put that TV on my handbag. So it's good for them to understand what it is expected of them. Again, we go back to presence. If you're not present, you'll not know what your children watch. If you're not present, you'll not know what they listen to, because there are also some music that you would not like your children to listen to. So the ministry of presence in your children must be there for the technology to flow very well.
Are your children on social media, and how would you advise the parent or our viewers, the ones whose children are in social media?
Wow, amazing. I've gotten enough pressure from my children about social media. But of course, I told you that I am the one who is seeing the future for them because they're still very young. And for children to be in social media, you have to be very, very, very careful. One, there is cyberbullying. I wouldn't like my children to be bullied.
True.
I wouldn't like my children to see things that are being seen on social media. I wouldn't like my children to be exposed to some of these things that I can see on social media because I'm already there. So I really protect my children not to be on social media, but of course I prepare them because at some point they will get there. But as per now, I cannot allow my children to be on social media. I cannot expose my children. I feel like putting my children on social media, and that is a personal feeling, like it is opening them and throwing them to the world when they have not had enough muscles for them to handle issues. Like now, if a child is bullied on social media, I feel like they don't have enough muscle to carry that. So personally, I cannot let my children go onto social media. And if they have to, then I have to really guide them. I have to really be there with them and understand what is it are they doing with this social media. We go back to the Ministry of Presence. You have to be present if you want your children to be on social media. But also, I would tell those parents whose children are on social media to really take care of them, because some of them are hurting because they can see things that they're not supposed to see. They can hear things that they're not supposed to hear at their age. They can be bullied and they are not grown enough for them to be able to carry all those bad things on social media. And social media, by the way, it's something that you cannot really understand, because people, you cannot see who you are abusing. You cannot see who you are bullying. But you can use your fingers to do that. And social media is really changing the whole world, because now people are not thinking and talking. They're just using their fingers to communicate. So I cannot allow my children to be in social media.
Okay.
Yes.
You see, in our days, children belonged to the community.
Yes.
You would meet this lady, she's just a neighbor or a friend to your mother. Then all of a sudden, boom, a fight. Where are you from? What is your take? As in, how would you take it when a neighbor maybe beats your child?
Wow. Hey, I also do that. So I'm a victim. And I think it all depends with how you take it. Because like now, I keep telling my children that anyone can discipline them. But of course, I do not expect that because we had a difference, you now start disciplining my child. That will not be allowed. It is not good. But if I find a child misbehaving, or maybe let us not even say misbehaving, maybe a child is trying to cross the road, and you are there, you are a parent, and you're not the mother to that child, and maybe you don't even know the parent. Wouldn't you stop and help that child cross the road?
You would.
It is the same case with discipline. If you find a child misbehaving, if you correct that child with love and in the right way, then I think it will be positive. But the problem that I have with the beating my child without my permission is you had a problem, you had maybe a challenge before, and then this person comes and beats your child for no good reason. Then if you have to beat, let that child understand, why am I doing this? This.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've told us that you sit down and talk to your kids, tell them this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're not supposed to do. How do you ensure that whatever you're telling them is what they take in and leave the pressures from outside, from other parents, from the peer pressure, from other places, from the social media, and follow what you as a parent is teaching?
wow, it's a tough thing. It's an uphill task. Because you find that sometimes you say something, but they think what you're saying is not right.
Yeah.
And so they have to go asking their friends, excuse me, is your mother doing this? So sometimes it becomes very tough. But with children, and when you're raising them and disciplining them, you have to really keep talking, and saying and repeating and reminding them. I keep reminding them that this is God's project. You're God's project. And me, I don't want to go to hell because I didn't raise you in the right way. So sometimes they go get pressure from outside, from neighbors, from friends, from wherever they go. But when they come, we sit down and ask them. Like now, I remember there was a day that my daughter was telling me to buy a very expensive shoe. And it's a good shoe. Yes, maybe I may afford, I may not. But is it really important? Do you really need this shoe? So we sat down and discussed and agreed, no, ma'am, if you get a good one, it is okay, but you don't have to buy this one. Why? Because we communicated and we could understand each other. But if you sit down there and you receive every pressure that your children bring from outside, then it might overwhelm you. So it's good for you to listen. And then you discuss it with your children. You discuss it with your child and know, why is it that you want to get this? Why is it that you want to do this? So when you discuss and agree, sometimes they don't even, they even say, I think I don't even need it. I think I don't need it.
Wow.
Yes.
Let's talk about church. Do you think, or do you feel that the church is helping us raise the children the best way we can?
The church. I feel like parents, we are left alone. I don't feel like we are together with the church. Okay, it's good, we take them for Sunday school, but sometimes we don't even know the Sunday school teachers. Sometimes we don't even understand what they learn. So I think in parenting, you have to be intentional as a parent, and you cannot wait for anyone else to do it for you. If there are things you cannot delegate, it is parenting. You cannot delegate parenting. You can only do it by yourself. So if you're not praying for your child, no one else is doing. Imagine no one else is doing. So you have to be there for your child. You have to parent your children. If you take them to church, you don't expect the Sunday school teacher to parent your child. Maybe they can help you a little bit, but you cannot expect them to parent your child, because they also have children anyway, and they have also other things to go and do. So it is your sole duty as a parent to raise your child and to parent your child. Yes.
How do you catch up with that age, as in from childhood to teenagehood? This is what I'm supposed to say. Now we're in the next age group. I'm not beating them now. I'm supposed to be talking to them. How do you go about it?
Yes, I get you very well. It's a challenge that every parent is getting, because sometimes I sit down with my firstborn and I tell her that we are doing this thing together because I have never been a mother before you. So we are doing it together with you.
You're the first
But yes, but now you see, I cannot discipline a 10-year-old the same way as a 3 years old.
Sure.
So you have to understand that there are things that a 3-year-old will do, and of course you don't really become very tough. But a 10-year-old, they know they have expectations. So you, as a mother or as a parent, you should be able to know a 10-year-old is expected to do what? Again, we go back to the ministry of presence. Presence is very, very important, because you cannot give birth to a child and then leave them just to grow. Anyway, they will still grow, but you have to be very cautious and know the stages that they are in life. So as this child grows from 0 to 1, what are you expected to do? I believe like now in disciplining, you should start as young as that child can hear. So if a child can understand that when she's breastfeeding, she can bite you and then she looks at you, waiting for your reaction, then you should know that that child can understand discipline. So what are you expected to do? You should change your facial expression and let that child know, I am not happy with you. I mean, you are making me feel pain. You see, again, that child continues to grow. As the child continues to grow and she's crawling, I'm sure you've seen a child trying to crawl and put her head in water, and then she looks at you and waits for you to react. So if you laugh, she will think it is right. So as they continue growing, you'll go understanding what you're supposed to do as they grow. But you cannot be there as a parent and wait for your child to just grow as you watch them and you're not guiding them. Remember, A child's mind is an empty disk that you're supposed to fill. So what are you feeling in your child's mind? You should be very cautious, and you should also take care what they are absorbing, because at that tender age, they're absorbing everything and putting it in the back of their mind. So when they grow, it will replay. So be careful with what they are recording, because it will replay in future. So as they continue to grow, and now they get into teenage where they get reserved, they don't really want to talk, they don't really want to say anything, don't force it. Don't force it, but make sure that you are friends. But you cannot be friends to a person that you've not been friends from 0 to 10 years and then expect to be friends when they are 14, 15. No. You have to walk a journey with them. So when I talk about presence, I really mean that you have to be present for that child and understand this child is capable of doing this child is capable of going to this direction, like that. And you cannot discipline, even if you have 10 children, you cannot bring them up in the same way. Every child is different and unique in their own way. So you should be able to understand this child and be able to know this child is able to go to what extent. Yes, I hope I have answered that question in a very right way.
You have. Eunice,
Yes.
it would be very wrong for us to end this show without mentioning about drugs and substances.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you think as a parent that when I see my son or my daughter doing this, they might be involved in drug abuse and substance? What do you think are some of these things that a parent or our viewer there will see and know my son or my daughter is abusing the drugs?
Wow, I'm so worried. When I say I am so worried, it is true. I am worried, my friend, because I don't think people are really caring about our children. The other day I was watching news and I could see that people are selling biscuits that has some toxic substances to our children. And I was wondering, is that a parent? Is that a person who is really caring about the future generation? And I can say for sure, it is very, 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 very bad for those people who are doing that. And I would pray that God will touch them to stop doing that. But all in all, we have to live anyway, whether the drugs are existing or not. But our children, you will know when a child is abusing something, or maybe when they're indulged into homosexuality and those other bad things, you will know, because you'll notice some patterns have changed. You'll notice that they don't want to be close to you because maybe they are fearing that you'll smell what they have taken. So when you see your child has been doing this, or maybe she has been joining you in the dining table to take dinner or to take your meals together, and all of a sudden you realize this child doesn't want to come near you, then you should be alert and know that something is not very right. So you should be close and understand, why are you not coming to eat with us? Again, you don't have to be very hard on them, but you have to listen and understand, why are you not coming to be with us during dinner time? And I insist to parents, make sure that at least in a day, you have one meal that you share with your children, so that you can be able to listen to them and understand them and know how their life is. That is the ministry of presence. Presence is very, very, very important. And also let them know what is expected of them, and tell them before they even start thinking that they can take those toxic substances. Let them know they are there, because they are there. Let them know they are there. But what are you supposed to do when you come across someone who is telling you to take them? They should be aware they are there and take care. Yes.
Wow. Everywhere ministry of presence. I love that.
Yes.
Okay. There's this thing about a new norm of children's suicide. Wow. That's saddening. Really saddening.
Yes.
What's your take about that?
It is sad. It is very sad. I've also lost a child, a friend's child, through suicide, and it was really sad. And I sat down with that lady. She explained to me so many things. Of course, it was connected with drugs. But that one aside, it is very sad that our children can think of committing suicide. And I feel like I can take a microphone and start talking about suicide in children so that people can understand it is there. But I go back to presence. Have you been present to know what your child is going through? To what extent was this child pushed to think that they can take away their lives? The other day, because I drop and pick my children from school, so we go talking. So I was telling them that life that you have is not yours when they talked about suicide, because we discussed that. And I was telling them that life that you have is not yours. It belongs to God and to the nation. So just in case you think of committing suicide, know that if the policeman gets you, they will jail you for life, because that life is not yours. It belongs to God. So you should take care of it. But that one aside, children are committing suicide. But as parents, have we dug and known what is this that is pushing our children to commit suicide, which is very painful. I cannot imagine a mother burying a child out of suicide. So we should sit down with our children and know what is this that is pushing you so hard. If you see them withdrawing, no, why are you withdrawing? Tell me, kindly tell me. You can even take them out for dinner, take them somewhere so that they can open up. But there's something that I have realized about technology. Our children are not communicating with their mouth. They are communicating with the fingers. They're using their gadgets to communicate. And the moment your child will realize that I can text my friend and she can give me an answer, they will never communicate to you. So if they try to get an answer from their friends and they fail to get it, which is the quickest answer? It is a rope. And then they commit suicide. So I think as parents, we have to be present and intentional. And we should listen to our children. Listen, 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 and be there for them.
So our viewers, I hope you've learned. You have listened to her. You've learned. She has encouraged us. You're so grateful. So thank you so much. But before we conclude, you can give us the parting shot.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a very interesting show, and we look forward to having more. And I hope that someone has learned something, and we have so much in store. Take home is, parents, be present for your children, listen to them, and more so, take care of your legacy. Your children, your legacy. Blessings. Thank you.
So until next time, see you.